Hello, everyone. How you all doing on this Monday? How is Monday going for you? How is Monday going for you? All right, so we are in the book of Second Kings, the book of Second Kings, and today we're going to be dealing with chapter 8, because it is the 8th day of August. Let me know if you've already read it. If not, it's okay. But just know that we're in the book of Second Kings for future reference. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start because I'm not gonna be on here long, but there are some things that I want to go over with you all right, definitely want to go over some vital information that's gonna help you while studying the book of Second Kings, chapter 8. So I'm gonna let this play here. And hey, Lita, how you doing? Once you come on, make sure you let me know that you're on by just saying, hey, let's hang out, so I'll know that you're tuning in with us on today here at Increase Global, Increase Nation. All right, let's go ahead and start. Second Kings 8. Now Elisha had said to the woman whose son he had restored to life, "Go away with your family and stay for a while wherever you can, because the Lord has decreed a famine in the land that will last 7 years." The woman proceeded to do as the man of God said. She and her family went away and stayed in the land of the Philistines 7 years. Okay, let's stop right there for a moment. Can you imagine God sending a prophet, sending someone to tell you to leave the territory that you have, leave the land where you raise your children, where you have built a foundation, leave the land where you have homes and just different things, right? You've invested. And then the Lord sends a prophet along and say, listen, a famine is decreed to come. It ain't came yet, but it's coming. And the Lord told me to tell you to leave that territory, leave that land for 7 years. Now, how many of you can be honest and say you would have obeyed? Or would you have said, did they really hear from God? Would you have said, I don't know if I want to do that? Would have been like Lot's wife and just turned back, right? Because I can only imagine, even though she decided to listen, right, to the prophet, she had to be uncomfortable as well. I'm leaving a familiar place. Many of us, we need to leave a familiar place. And we don't want to, but we receive prophecy, receive confirmation. We've even had conversations with our friends, with our family members, and that light bulb goes off or a ding goes off saying, man, maybe I need to turn away. Maybe I need to leave this place, right? Well, this woman who had a child, right? Saw a miracle. And this is the thing that we got to understand. Before he informed her of this, God brought her son back to life. So she saw a miracle. She saw miracle signs and wonders. Many of you have seen miracles. Many of you have seen God show up and show out in your life. But if you're not in agreement with a certain word, you you hesitate or you become stagnated, which means you do not move on that word. We got to understand how vital and important that is. How vital and important, because I'm going to show you. Let's keep listening. At the end of the 7 years, she came back from the land of the Philistines and went to appeal to the king for her house and land. The king was talking to Gehazi, the servant of the man of God, and had said, "Tell me about all the great things Elisha has done." Just as Gehazi was telling the king how Elisha had restored the dead to life, the woman whose son Elisha had brought back to life came to appeal to the king for her house and land. Gehazi said, "This is the woman, my lord the king, and this is her son whom Elisha restored to life." The king asked the woman about it, and she told him. Then he assigned an official to her case and said to him, "Give back everything that belonged to her, including all the income from her land from the day she left the country until now." Okay, now watch this. Let's talk about that a little bit. Somebody say, let's talk about that. And whatever you ate for lunch, make sure you put that in the chat. All right, so this is the thing. So a prophet Elijah, told her to leave for 7 years. Give up ownership. Oh man. She gave up ownership in this land. And to leave for 7 years because a famine is decreed to come. So she obeyed. Somebody say obedience is better than sacrifice. Somebody say if you obey the Lord, he'll give you the desires of your heart, right? So she comes back after 7 years, and the king gives her all the income, all the revenue, all the money, right, from her land. The king gives her back what belongs to her. I don't think y'all caught that. The king gives everything that belonged to her. Come on, including all the income from her land from the day she left. See, I don't think y'all caught that. She got her land back, but she also received the income that was made from her land from the time she left 7 years ago. So she left a place because God utilized a prophet as a vessel and said, leave, because there's about to be a famine. A famine is not a place of joy, a famine is a place of drought. A famine is a place of destruction. And God, listen, God said, I want you to leave. I'm going to trust you, God. Even though I'm leaving you, I'm walking out on faith and I'm trusting what you're saying. So I'm going to leave. Mm. But as I leave, I'm trusting you. My whole journey is trusting you because I'm leaving and going to another country. I'm going to a country where I have no ownership. I'm going to a country where people don't know me. I'm going to a country where I have to lean not to my own understanding, but I have to trust in you, God, because you're taking me out of a familiar place and you're putting me in an uncomfortable place. And you're not just doing this for 30 days. You're not just doing this for a year. You're doing this for 7 years. And I can't look back. I can't turn back. But then when my 7 years is up, I go back to the place where I was familiar. But when I come back, I get everything that belonged to me plus more. Somebody needs to know that you may think that it's going to hurt because you disconnect. You may think it's going to hurt because you leave your city. You may think that it's going to hurt because you disconnect from that relationship. But I need you to understand that if God is telling you a famine is about to hit that relationship, a famine is about to hit that job, a famine is about to hit. Do you want to know what I'm saying? If destruction is coming, and God is trying to protect you from being hurt, and God tell you to leave, if stagnation is decreed and it's coming, and God knows the plan that he has for you, he's telling you to leave. You don't understand because you've been connected to them for too long. You don't understand because you've been with that person for years. You don't understand because it's a familiar place. But what you need to understand is God is trying to set you up for a come up. And you got to understand that it's going to take a disconnection. It's going to take leaving certain territory. It's going to take leaving certain people to get the come up that you're trying to get. Somebody say, oh, it's going to take a certain disconnection. It's going to take a certain separation. It's going to take you walking out on faith and leaving the land. You got to ask yourself, what is it that God has been trying to tell you to let go of? What is it that God has been trying to tell you to disconnect from? And that's why you are feeling some of the famine. You are feeling some of the drought. You are feeling some of the distress. You got to understand that you have to listen and abide. Man will tell you, Spain, you can't leave this territory. You're crazy. But I want you to understand something, that just like this woman and her child, they came back and gained everything they had plus more. Somebody say, I'm about to gain everything I had plus more when I bust this move. When I make this move that God told me to make. When I do what God tell me to do. I'm not losing anything. I'm being set up for a come up. I hope y'all felt that. Let's continue on. Told y'all, we hanging out. We hanging out. Ben-Hadad, king of Aram, was ill. When the king was told, the man of God has come all the way up here, he said to Hazael, take a gift with you and go to meet the man of God. Consult the Lord through him and ask him, will I recover from this illness? Okay, we're going to stop right there. Let me tell y'all something. So the king ordered, I'm going to say his right hand man, right? He ordered his right hand to, to go see Prophet Elijah. But he didn't go to the prophet empty handed. Many people are saying, why do I have to bless the prophet? Let me tell y'all, if you didn't know where that came from, a lot of people thought it came from, I guess, the okadoke, right? No, it actually came from these times and days, because before a person presented themselves to a prophet, they always came with something in their hand to give to them. Because at the end of the day, you got to understand that time is being utilized and our time is very vital. Not only do you understand that, you need to understand that, you also need to understand that God is going to use that person, but you got to understand that they had to give up some stuff to really be used by God. There's some things that occurred in their life. So you issuing a gift to a man or a woman, a God, a prophet who's going to prophetically speak into your life, the only thing you're doing is blessing yourself. The only thing you're doing is, how should I say this? You know how they say, give the flowers while they're still living. That's really the only thing you're doing. You're just presenting some flowers to someone that you entrust to be a vessel of the Most High. You need to understand, it's like with your children. When your children get older, you really do want them to appreciate you. You want them to honor you for the things that you've done. And they can do it even as a child, whether it's making sure your house is clean, making sure they are representing your name, representing their bloodline properly. That's them giving flowers to you, but also letting you know that you're doing a good job. See, sometimes we get away from that, but you know what I realize is that givers, we give without thinking. It's a part of our nature. It's a part of who we are. But if you're not a giver, then it's hard. Your spirit is going to cringe because you are in an unfamiliar space and God is really trying to shift you. Trying to shift you. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Oh, it started over. Hold on. Let me get down to the right spot. Whose son he had restored to life. Go away with your family and stay for a while wherever you can, because the Lord has decreed a famine in the land that will last 7 years. The woman proceeded to do as the man of God said. Okay, we're just gonna listen through. Stayed in the land of the Philistines 7 years. At the end of the 7 years, she came back from the land of the Philistines and went to appeal to the king for her house and land. The king was talking to Gehazi, the servant of the man of God, and had said, "Tell me about all the great things Elisha has done." Just as Gehazi was telling the king how Elisha had restored the dead to life, the woman whose son Elisha had brought back to life came to appeal to the king for her house and land. Gehazi said, "This is the woman, my lord the king, and this is her son whom Elisha restored to life." The king asked the woman about it, and she told him. Then he assigned an official to her case and said to him, "Give back everything that belonged to her, including all the income from her land from the day she left the country until now." Elisha went to Damascus, and Ben-Hadad, king of Aram, was ill. When the king was told, "The man of God has come all the way up here," he said to Hazael, "Take a gift with you and go to meet the man of God. Consult the Lord through him and ask him, 'Will I recover from this illness?'" Hazael went to meet Elisha, taking with him as a gift 40 camel loads of all the finest wares of Damascus. He went in and stood before him and said, "Your son, Ben-Hadad, king of Aram, has sent me to ask, 'Will I recover from this illness?'" Elisha answered, "Go and say to him, 'You will certainly recover.' Nevertheless, the Lord has revealed to me that he will in fact die." He stared at him with a fixed gaze until Hazael was embarrassed. Then the man of God began to weep. "Why is my Lord weeping?" asked Hazael. "Because I know the harm you will do to the Israelites," he answered. "You will set fire to their fortified places, kill their young men with the sword, dash their little children to the ground, and rip open their pregnant women." Hazael said, "How could your servant, a mere dog, accomplish such a feat?" "The Lord has shown me that you will become king of Aram," answered Elisha. Then Hazael left Elisha
and returned to his master. When Ben-Hadad asked, "What did Elisha say to you?" Hazael replied, "He told me that you would certainly recover." But the next day he took a thick cloth, soaked it in water, and spread it over the king's face, so that he died. Then Hazael succeeded him as king.
All right, you guys. So when I listened and read this right here, somebody say, my mind just really was blown because I want y'all to understand this. So Hazael, the king sent Hazael to Prophet Elijah, and he sent them there to see if he was going to be healed, basically, right? If he was going to be cured from this illness. Now, it's amazing how the prophet Elijah says yes, but then turns around and say, but I see he's going to die. Now, after all of this, he says, why are you weeping, right? And he explains it to him, but then he said, well, how would a person like me do that, right? And then the prophet tells him how he's going to do it. And this is the part I want you to understand here. He said how he's going to do it. He said, and this was the part that really, really, really like blew my mind. He said, how could your servant, a mere dog, accomplish such a feat? The Lord has shown me that you will become king. Now, he didn't say how he would become king. He just told him he will become king. But notice I said in the beginning, this was like the king right-hand man. Look, I want you to go and I want you to, I want you to tell me what's going on. Like, go see if I'm going to be healed so I can continue to reign, right? So he comes back and he said, now what did Prophet Elijah say? This is the king talking. And he said, oh, you're going to be okay. He didn't wait days and weeks or months. He took his shot. Now, he could have just waited for the king to die later on in life. But no, he allowed the evil in him, jealousy in him to come forth. And he took the man out. When I was reading this and studying this, I said, you got to be careful with your right hand. See, when I was in my study, there are two type of people that came to me. And the two type of people that came to me was when God connect two people, and then when people study you and people they're trying to figure out how to get close to you. Those are two different closeness. See, I can have a gift and somebody else can have a gift. And we run in the race and we're in alignment with our gifts, but our gifts drew us close together. It wasn't planned, okay? It just happened. But then you got people that will plot to get close to you. And they're plotting to get close to you because of what they can gain from being connected to you. And if you're not careful, it's people of that capacity and that light that will try and take you out and be your replacement for your vision. God will give you a vision. Let me tell you something. I'm in a season where God said, be silent when it comes to the vision. And the reason being is because sometimes you can tell people your vision, and instead of them seeing their place in the vision, they see themselves replacing you in the vision. You got to understand that this man, he saw at that moment, I'm going to be king. I'm not going to wait for him to fulfill his purpose. I'm just going to take his purpose. I'm just going to take his success. And it caused him to succeed the king. You got to understand that you got to be careful. You got to be careful when it comes to the people that call you friend. You got to be careful to the people that are trying to get close to you in a season where God said, I'm going to elevate you. You got to be careful when it comes to people trying to be up under you and they're trying to go left when you go left. They're trying to go right when you go right. Because if God did not bring y'all together because your gifts were in alignment, then you are set up, my God, by the enemy for somebody to try to take what you have. When I was in my study, I started going down memory lane and I started really thinking, and I said, the people that have hurt me were the people that plotted to get get close to me. The people who made up in their mind, I guess, in their secret place and tried to figure out how can they get close to Tamira? How can they allow Tamira to call them friend? How can they get Tamira's trust so that they can boom, boom, knock me out and try to take what God intended for me? You got to be careful, because when God put two people together, he's not putting you together so you can take what the other has. He's putting you together so that your vision can flow. There are many people that are not seeing the success that they need to see because they have taken part of your vision, part of your purpose, and they're trying to run with it as if it was theirs. And that's why they're not seeing results in that area, because it was never meant for them to take what was yours. It was meant for y'all to go into partnership. It was meant for y'all to collaborate. But you got to understand that you are the collaborator and they are the competitor. My God, you are the collaborator and they are the competitor. You are the giver and they are the taker. Oh, you are the giver and they are the taker. When I was reading this scripture, backstabbing did not start in 2000. Backstabbing started a long time ago in the book of Second Kings. And before that, it actually started in the book of Genesis when Cain took out Abel and killed his only brother because he was jealous. Now, why would you be jealous? Because somebody knows how to give to the Lord. Why would you be jealous? Because somebody knows how to flow in their gift. Instead of you trying to become me, how about you get in alignment and collaborate with me? Oh my God. See, he could have waited for his turn. He could have waited until the king's time was up. But instead, he wanted the position for himself. And guess what? He did not give him all the word. He gave him some of the word. And then he took him out the next day. You have to be careful. You have to be careful. God told me to get silent. Don't be telling everybody your next move. Don't be telling everybody this, because you will be surprised who's trying to mimic you. You'll be surprised who's trying to take your spot. You'll be surprised who's trying to live out your vision. And the sad thing about it is, I don't even think they even know. I don't even think he would have killed the king if he would have not have gained that much knowledge that he was going to be king. All it takes is somebody getting close to someone close to you and them telling you that you telling them that they can do what you do, that they can do what the person they're close to can do. And the spirit of jealousy, the spirit of corruption, the spirit of evilness can penetrate them. Spirits travel. You cannot determine if a spirit jump on you. That's why you got to stay prayed up. That's why you got to make sure that you have a strong spirit of discernment. You got to understand that it is so important that you know your place and you know your position, because you will miss your purpose trying to live somebody else's purpose. That's why when he became king, he was doing nothing but destroying everything. You ever seen the Lion King? And you know, on the Lion King, Scar wanted to be Mufasa so bad. He wanted to be king so bad that he killed his own brother, scared off his own nephew, just so that he could become king. And when he became king, he killed every living thing that was supposed to produce for them to continue to live. He turned a beautiful land into something ugly and dead. He caused the living to die. He caused those connected to run. Because the truth of the matter is, he was never supposed to be king, because he did not have what it takes. He did not have what it takes to be king. You got to understand, even though in the Lion King, Scar thought, okay, I'm of the same bloodline. Why was it not given to me? Because you're not a giver like your brother. You're not selfless like your brother. And what I began to understand was Mufasa was selfless, Scar was selfish. God would turn around and bring people into your life that's the opposite of you. The opposite of you. And they will try to get close to what belongs to you to fulfill something that does not belong to them. You probably wonder, why do I attract certain people that don't have my scent? It's because they want what you have. It's hard to believe that somebody will investigate you and study you. It's hard to believe that somebody will look you up and try to figure out how to get close to you, how to stay connected to you, how to receive the things that you will receive, only to do like the story of Selena. I'm going to get so close to Selena just to take Selena out because jealousy and envy, it wasn't the person, it was the spirit that wanted what she had and caused Selena to leave this earth. You have to be careful who's trying to get close to you, and it ain't God. You got to be careful who's trying to be your right hand man, and it ain't God. And a lot of times we think it's God, but while I was in my study, I realized that it's our gifts that draw us close to each other, not plotting and planning how to stay connected or get connected. Our gifts will draw us close to people. And if the gift fades, it fades us away from people. It separates us. Many of you are in a season where God wanted you to separate from some people. And it's not because they're bad people, it's because your gifts are no longer in alignment. You got to understand that gifts get you to purpose, it drives you to purpose. And you got to have people connected to you that have gifts that are in alignment. Plotting and planning on how to get close to somebody is manipulation. The gift didn't bring you close, manipulation did. So you want to be careful in this season of your life, whether you're leaving the territory, or it's people in your family, or it's people that you're already friends with, or it's people that you're about to become friends with. You want to be careful because if it's not authentic, and it's your gifts that are drawing you together, then it's manipulation that's bringing you together. And you want to have a strong spirit of discernment to make sure that people are not connecting to you based off plotting and manipulation, because that is a stab in the back getting ready to take place. So you all, if you haven't read Second Kings chapter 8, make sure you read Second Kings chapter 8. Tomorrow is the ninth. Make sure you read it. How I advise it is read these chapters before you go to bed at night so that you're able to join us on Zoom or on here. And let's talk about what's being discussed. Let's talk about, because I really want to hear your feedback. So join me on Zoom, or you can join me on camera so that we can talk about these scriptures as we read. So if this bless you, put blessed in the chat. Put blessed in the chat. If this is your first time tuning in, put first time. If you're watching, let me know that you're watching. Let me know that you're watching, because on my end, I only see you when you put something in the chat. Come on, let's interact. Let's interact. And whatever you have for lunch, make sure you put that in the chat as well, because this is lunch and the word of God. I had me some tacos today. I had me some tacos today. I am glad that this blessed y'all. I'm glad that this bless you, bless you, bless you. I'm glad. All right. If you're tuning in from YouTube, you can chat on YouTube as well. You all heart it up, heart it up. Make sure you share the video. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you haven't followed us, crackers, Lord, come on. All right. I'll be praying for you, girl. Praying for you. If you haven't followed us on Facebook, go to Increase Global and follow us on Facebook. Follow me, Tamira Bell, on Facebook as well. Hello, Pearly. How are you doing? I'm glad that this blessed you on today. I'm glad that it blessed you. You all, I want you to enjoy the rest of the day. Go out there and win because you can. because God is on your side. He's leading and guiding you. You all, until next time, I am Tamira Bell, the pastor of Increase Global, Increase Nation. Blessings to you all.